Thank God. CJ Stroud was finally better than Davis Mills. Did it on the Talking Texans podcast with DJ Bieneme yesterday from ESPN. He's been out there, and to this point, Mills has clearly been the better quarterback. Today was a different story. If you're paying attention to completion percentages, Stroud was 6 of 9 with a touchdown. He had a couple plays where he scrambled. He had a nice ball that he threw downfield in the end zone to Nico Collins. It was on a fade, so it wasn't deep downfield. Nico Collins essentially mossed Derek Stingley Jr. on that play. You need to see Collins doing more stuff like that. He is gifted with that massive frame that he has. They got to have somebody who's going to be a wide receiver that's open even when he's not, if you will. Because you really don't have that. You have a lot of guys who are like tweener slot receivers. And year 1 to year 2 is normally when the jump happens. You're hoping that Davis Mills, his struggles are the reason Collins wasn't able to make that jump last year. Some of the other things that Stroud was able to do, he rarely held on to the ball. It came out quick. That's going to be big for Bobby Slowick. Meanwhile, Davis Mills, not a good day. He was 4 for 12 per DJ with a couple of drops. I'm happy about this. I do, when it comes to Davis Mills, I'm not wishing for the guy to fail. I hope that he's able to carve out a career, make some money in this league. I just don't want to see him as a starting quarterback again. I think we're all on the same page here. Like, that's what sucks about this quarterback competition. The Texans have to do it from a fair and balanced perspective. They have to give everybody an opportunity. When you got a new regime coming in, you have to make everyone believe that they are a part of a team, that there isn't anybody who's above it. And yes, even the second overall pick, who's the quarterback of the future, you sometimes have to go through these dumb semantics. Obviously, the Panthers are doing it in the exact opposite way with Bryce Young already the starting quarterback. But it's good to see that Stroud had a day where he actually outshined Davis Mills. It's a bit of a sigh of relief on my end, at least as far as that goes. As far as other things from today at Texans training camp, they are not holding back. At least that's what DeMeco Ryan is saying. When it comes to CJ Stroud, when it comes to Davis Mills, they're throwing everything they possibly can. I look at it more from this perspective. I just want a defense that's going to attack more. And the Texans defense last year under Lovie Smith did not. Lovie Smith's defensive pedigree and track record, he did so much damage to it last year. And I hate to say, you always remember the last thing that a coach does. And Lovie Smith had a hell of a career as a defensive assistant, specifically with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and part of Monty Kiffin's scheme back in the day. But what we saw last year was a joke. It was there was no variance. Nothing was really disguised. They're not even going to blitz. It was the same thing every game.
It really felt like a time machine of you just watched a already not very talented defense play a defense that's from 2003. Whereas there's been 20 years of football development since this was shutting. Even with the Bears, I'll give them the Bears. So that's 15 years of football development. Where it was just such an outdated system that he was running that didn't fit with the personality.
Seriously, come on. You have a corner in Derek Stingley, and again, injuries. Maybe he's not 100% start of the year. But you talked before the draft about how you wanted specifically a corner that can do the things Derek Stingley does, and then you put him in a cover two. What the hell, dude?
Yeah. I think.
And he knows more about football than me. I'm not trying to act like I know more about defense than him, Sean. I'm more just saying this doesn't seem like Derek Stingley's biggest strength. Just a thought. Doesn't seem like the biggest strength though.
Yeah, I think for us and maybe even younger, especially actually. Probably all the younger Texans fans, how many of them there are, we'll see. But that he probably did the most damage to his reputation for people that have to talk about the Texans every day last year, and for the kids that don't remember the Chicago Bears and Tampa Bay defenses.
Yeah, forgot about the Bears for a second.
If you just were wait, who is this guy? What defense is he running?
Yeah, it sucks. So you're hoping that you're going to see more attacking. And one last thought on Texans training camp today, and this is a bummer of a development, though. I don't think that this player is really factoring into the long-term plans of the Houston Texans. Questenberry, who was the center for the Texans last year when Justin Britt just randomly vanished from the team. We still have no idea why that happened. Scott Questenberry was carted off the field with what seems to be a leg injury. Sucks for him, and that basically means that Juice Scruggs, your second-round rookie out of Penn State, is going to be thrust right into the action with no real competition. So that's good. You're going to throw him right into the fire, but damn, you hope he's good if it's going to be C.J. Stroud right away as the quarterback at the start of the regular season. And maybe that is a reason that the Texans would say, you know what, we'll go with Davis Mills. I saw somebody post about this the other day, talking about how this could be a lot like where the Texans put in Tom Savage in front of Deshaun Watson. And here's how that's different. From what I know, the Texans thought they had the worst offensive line in the NFL going into 2017, an offensive line that they traded Dwayne Brown away from at the trade deadline after he'd played his one game with the team in Seattle because he held out for the first, 8 weeks of the season or so. They thought they had the worst offensive line in the league. And that was proven by the first half against Jacksonville, where they sacked Tom Savage, 5, 6, 7 times or something like that. Then they put in Deshaun Watson. They knew they had the worst offensive line in the league. I suppose that is subjective, but that's how the team felt about itself. Versus now, where you've invested, $170 million in the offensive line in total money, not guaranteed money, this offseason with Titus Howard and Laramie Tunsil and Shaq Mason. That's not going to be the reason they don't put him in. They have even with a rookie at center and a left guard and Kenyon Green, who's in his second year and didn't play very well last year, this offensive line is so much better than that offensive line was.